PCOS has become so common these days that out of every 5 females that we coach are either diagnosed with PCOS or are suffering with symptoms related to it. And the data says that out of 70% females who are struggling with it just goes undiagnosed with it. Apart from the major reason or the downside being infertility or the problem to conceive a child, PCOS also stands as a risk factor for increasing the risk for type 2 diabetes, heart diseases, hypertension, and if left untreated for the long term, even uterine cancers. This is a serious thing that we are suffering with, and we need to talk about it. There are a lot of misinformations, misconceptions, unethically marketed supplements out there that are made to target females suffering from it, and this just gets the issue more and more complicated and prevents them from treating the root cause of the symptoms. That is why we are here. Let's discuss about it. Let's find out what are the root causes, how to diagnose it, and how to actually work with it and get rid of majority of the symptoms, and if possible stay away from all of the medications and get the fertility periods, hormonal balance, energy levels, and all of the symptoms reversal like the hair loss and all of those things back again. But before we go ahead, my friend, share this episode with a female in your life, either it be your friend, wife, anybody in your life who has been complaining lately about missing or irregular period cycle, excessive hair loss, sudden weight gain, and excessive unwanted hair growth on the body parts. Okay, if this has been the case, share this episode with her because this is gonna be super valuable for her. Before we go ahead, my friend, as always, Vinay here, lecturer of exercise science at National Strength and Conditioning Association India, a body transformation and a performance coach, here to make your transformation and performance journey easier, faster, and enjoyable. And in today's episode, let's talk about PCOS, also known as Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome. Now, my friend, how do we diagnose PCOS in the first place? That whether you are suffering from PCOS, what are the risk factors? How do we actually find out that whether we are suffering from PCOS or we are not? Now, I am not a medical professional. I am not a doctor per se. So, diagnosing any medical condition does not fall under my scope of practice. But whatever I am sharing with you today would everything be from the things that I have learned so far, from my knowledge that I have gained in so many years of being a coach, of working with females suffering from PCOS, working in collaboration with their gynecologist and getting their root causes sorted, and even getting them back to conceive, and few of our clients have even conceived in such a case. So that has been my experience in this field. I have consistently been gaining knowledge. I've been studying a lot on these topics and hormones and all of these things lately. So everything that I would be sharing with you would be my personal opinions and suggestions and should not be taken as a medical advice. Okay, what I have observed that works best in such medical scenarios is a collaborative approach between a coach and a gynecologist or a medical professional. A coach who could take care of the nutrition, lifestyle, and exercise side of things, and the medical professional, which could be gynecologist in this case, to take care of the diagnosis and the medical prescriptions and the protocols. If these two works in collaboration, then the clients that we work with gets the best possible results, because just the medical professional and the medicines won't be able to treat and cure the root cause of the issues, and just the fitness professional or the coach who could take care of nutrition, exercise, and lifestyle could not actually 100% get rid of the problem. But if these two work in collaboration, we get the best possible solutions. And that's what. If that part has been cleared, let's move on to how to actually diagnose that whether you are actually suffering from PCOS or whether you aren't. Now, there are 3 things that we need to do. There is no actual test or there is no specific, what we could say, assessment that could tell us that whether somebody is facing from PCOS or not. But if we take these 3 things in consideration and use our smart brains, then we would get, or we would be in the, what we could say, we could make the most educated guess at what is the thing that we are up against. Okay, so number one is the ultrasound of the ovaries. Getting the ultrasound report of the ovaries gives us a very good idea of whether there are any cysts developed over the ovaries or not. It gives a very, very clear picture. If there are no cysts, then majority of the times there are no problems. If there are cysts, then majority of the times there could be problem that we are up against. Okay, number two is blood report testing or blood testing, especially the hormonal panel and testing for nutrient deficiencies. Now, hormonal panel will also give us a very, very clear data, but then again, females and hormones are slightly complicated. Their hormones keeps on fluctuating throughout the menstrual cycle. So what are the things that we could look at and give us a good idea is the level of luteinizing hormone called as LH to FSH ratio. FSH is called as the follicle stimulating hormone. So the ratio between this would give us a very good idea. LH is generally very much elevated or on the upper end of the spectrum, and FSH also could be within the ranges but could be on the lower end of the spectrum. Majority of the times LH and FSH throughout the cycle are at 1:1 ratio, but during PCOS what we could observe is the LH and FSH ratio could go up to like 3:1. Okay, that could be one of the indicators. Second indicator could be hyperandrogenism, androgenism, whatever it is called. So basically elevated levels of androgen hormones like testosterone and DHEA. Okay, although all of the females would have good amount, or we could say small amounts of testosterone and DHEA, which are the androgenic hormones, or specifically the hormones present in males as well, and male potent hormone we could say, but they are present in all of the females but in smaller quantities. But during hyperandrogenism and in PCOS, the levels of testosterone and DHEA are slightly elevated. This could be a very, very good and a potent sign. The other hormone could be insulin. Insulin resistance is one of the root causes that could lead to PCOS. So higher and the elevated levels of insulin could also be a good indicator that would fall under this entire spectrum, that would put us into the best spot to make the decision about whether we are suffering from PCOS or whether we are not. Apart from these, FSH and progesterone, FSH being slightly on the lower end of the spectrum, which could again, just like we talked about, LH and FSH ratio, and the other hormone could be progesterone. Now, progesterone generally in the second half of the menstrual cycle, that is in the luteal phase, generally luteal phase is progesterone dominant phase, and if the ovulation takes place, the progesterone just increases slightly. But if we are testing after the ovulation is done and the progesterone levels are not high enough, that could be a good sign that ovulation hasn't occurred. So there are multiple intricacies in here. I won't be able to go into too much of details or else that will complicate things for you. But then again, whether we are having ovulation, whether we are ovulating, whether we aren't, the treatment protocol changes. Whether the ovulation is happening, LH is high, FSH was high, but then the ovulation occurred as well, then the treatment protocol is different. If the ovulation did not occur, the treatment protocol could be different. So that's why there has to be like a big list of diagnoses that needs to be taken care of. Apart from the hormonal test, there are also nutrient deficiencies which could be underlying issues that could be making the symptoms worse. Although the nutrient deficiencies do not cause or do not give us indicators of whether we are suffering from PCOS or we aren't, but they are basically holding us back, or they could worsen the symptoms in cases, and fixing the nutrient deficiencies could also help us to get rid of majority of the symptoms. Okay, majority of the nutrient deficiencies that we could talk about, or we could get an idea of blood glucose levels. Blood glucose levels would again hint us towards insulin resistance if we have developed any. Okay, HbA1c, fasting blood glucose levels, and the postprandial blood glucose levels, OGTT, oral glucose tolerance test, and things like that would give us a good indicator about the blood glucose levels and whether we have developed insulin resistance or not, how sensitive is our body to insulin, and that could give us a very good idea. Apart from that, majority of the females have vitamin D, B complex, zinc, magnesium, and selenium deficiencies as well. Fixing these would help us to like sort out a lot of symptoms that comes along with PCOS. Okay. Apart from this, ultrasounds, blood reports for hormone and nutrition testing, and the third thing is verbal assessment about the symptoms and the lifestyle. Okay. Verbal assessment could be like, how is the lifestyle like? Are you suffering from any sudden weight gain from like last some time now? Okay. Are you suffering from male pattern baldness or excessive hair fall in the last some time now? Okay. Irregular menstrual cycle, then a lot of energy and hunger fluctuations, means there are times when the energy levels are high and then they are low again. There are times when hunger levels are too high and then low again, high, low. These could be few signs and symptoms that could also hint us towards whether we have developed PCOS or we aren't, or we are at the earlier stages of it. The three things would give us the entire picture: ultrasound, blood testing for hormone and nutrient deficiencies or imbalances, and the third thing, verbal assessment about the symptoms, lifestyle, health related questions. Okay. So when we have answers to all of these three, we would be in the best position to get a nice diagnosis about where we are and what we need to do ahead. Okay. But all in all, my friend, if I tell you PCOS, apart from few genetic factors, it could be majoritarily dependent upon the lifestyle. It could also be called as a lifestyle disease that we have developed for ourselves. Okay. Because of our sedentary lifestyle, a lot of unmanaged stress, because of bad nutrition habits, we have brought this disease on ourselves. Okay. This is something that if we have created it because of our bad lifestyle, bad eating habits, unmanaged stress, how do you even think about the medicines to get rid of all of these things? If medicines haven't created the problem, lifestyle has. Then if we take care of our lifestyle, reverse our lifestyle, all of the symptoms and even the entire disease could be reversed. Okay. That's what, my friend. Root causes for the PCOS generally are insulin resistance, sedentary, very sedentary lifestyle, hyperandrogenism, then we have got nutrient deficiencies, then we have got elevated cortisol, which is basically the stress hormone of our body, which generally happens due to a lot of unmanaged stress. Again, lifestyle and genetic factors are a big part of it, but then again, majority of these are controllables, and what we could actually do is we could make sure that even if we are suffering from PCOS, even if there are small cysts on the ovaries, we could still have the fertility back, we could still have regular menstrual cycle, we could still have very stable and higher levels of energy, very lower and like controllable levels of hunger, no excessive hair fall, no unwanted hairs on the female bodies and things like that. We can absolutely stay a very healthy and a happy life. That is what I want to help you with by the end of this episode. Okay, so let's get straight into what could we do about it, whether we are on the earlier stages or whether we aren't, whether we are or looking at the symptoms, or whether we are suffering from the symptoms or whether we aren't. Okay, let's talk about how to solve these things. The solution to these things is very simple, just like what we do with our majority of the clients who come to us with PCOS, with hormonal imbalances, with nutrient deficiencies, who suffer symptoms just like PCOS, the same things I'm gonna tell it to you and same things I'm gonna share it with you. Okay. So number one thing that we start off with is to change the nutrition protocol. Okay. Now nutrition, we specifically talk about nutrition and not a diet. Okay, when we think about diet, what we think about is all of the boiled and bland food, tasteless food, eat less and count calories and all of these things. But when we talk about nutrition, just the change of word from diet to nutrition changes the entire perspective about it. When we talk about nutrition, we think about nutrients. We think about nutrients like protein. We think about nutrients like carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, antioxidants, minerals, all of these things. And food is the only source of nutrients for our body, my friend. Okay, our body is not just made up of fat. Our body has got a lot of things that we need to take care of. Okay, so we need to fix the nutrition requirements of our body. Okay, so we fix the nutrient requirements for our body first. We make sure that the people that we are working with are getting enough amount of protein, enough amount of fibers, enough amount of vitamins and minerals from the whole foods, and if needed we also supplement with specific vitamins, minerals, and the things that we cannot get from the food, because not everyone eats everything, not everyone prefers eating everything, not everybody's schedule and things align with the things that they need to eat and do. So supplements are something of a best option in that specific scenario. So we fix the nutrients first, adding in a lot of nutrient dense food, a lot of food. Our clients generally complain about they having to eat a lot of food even while transforming, even while being on a diet. And this is a problem, this is a good problem to have. Basically, when you are on a transformation journey, when you are on a health reversal, disease reversal journey, you get to eat a lot of food. It is not about eating less food, my friend, it is about eating the right food in the right quantities. We don't always have to be on a lower calorie, my friend. We have to eat adequate calories that will help us to have elevated energy levels, because we are not just sitting and eating and sleeping. We have got works to do, we have got responsibilities to take care of, we have got families and our occupation and our jobs to be taken care of. We need energy to be productive there. We need energy to be able to play and be there with our families, our kids, and things like that. We have a social life, all of those things require energy. If we won't get enough calories from our food, where the calories would come from? Okay, so calories should be adequate, it should not be very very low and low all of the time. That is why what we do with all of our clients is we phase out their transformation journey. There is a specific phase where we are focused on fat loss, where we are going in a calorie deficit. Then we have maintenance phases, we have lean gains and muscle gain phases, where we could eat a lot of food, we could add in a lot of our favorite foods and things like that to our diet, and that makes the overall journey of our clients a lot successful and a lot enjoyable as well, rather than being on a calorie deficit for the rest of their life. Okay, so that is not what we do. We eat a lot of nutrients, nutrient deficiencies are managed, protein, fibers are managed. That also helps us with making our body insulin sensitive and slowly get rid of the insulin resistance. So that is the number one thing that we do. Number two is manage androgenism. Okay, so whenever there is a problem in female of having excessive testosterone, DHEA, and all of the male hormones, what generally has to be done is sufficient nutrients, good exercise protocol, stress management, sleep. These are the things that would help out to balance out the hormones. Okay, generally females don't strength train, and strength training is very beneficial for females in this specific scenario. Paying attention to strength training, paying attention to rest and recovery. Whenever you sleep, if you don't sleep, my friend, how is your body gonna balance out everything? It is like you are taking your car for servicing and you are keeping the engines on, keeping the lights on, keeping everything on in the car, and getting the car to be changed oils and lubricants and things like that. Will it happen? It won't, my friend. If you want to get the car serviced, you have to turn off the engines, turn off the car, and get out of the car and let it be ideal for some time, so that the car could be serviced, so that the oil could be changed, the lubricants could be taken care of, the parts that need to be changed, that would be changed, the things that need to be cleaned could be cleaned. Okay, that is what happens with our body when we sleep. Nowadays people are watching Netflix, people are watching their favorite anime and things like that, people are playing games and everything, and sleep at 2 a.m. and then they again want to wake up at 6 a.m. because they think that is something to brag about. There is nothing to brag about not sleeping, my friend. One of the worst thing that you could do for yourself is to not sleep enough. That's what I said, my friend. Add in strength training, add in a good sleep protocol, prioritize your sleep. 7 to 8 hours of undisturbed sleep would change the game in this scenario, my friend. Okay, number one, nutrient deficiencies. Fix the nutrient deficiencies, add in a lot of fibers, add in a lot of protein, add in a lot of fruits, vegetables, and lean protein sources into your meals. That is number one thing that we take care of. There are specific and personalized protocols for every client that we work with, but that depends upon the client, that depends upon their goals, that depends upon where they are at in their journey, what is their specific schedule, their specific preferences, and things like that. So we personalize the things according to these factors. Okay, so fixing the nutrition first, Taking care of strength training, regular consistent strength training. It doesn't have to be too much, it doesn't have to be too intense, it doesn't have to be too perfect, but we just have to get it done. Okay, 60-minute sessions for 3 to 5 strength training sessions throughout the week are good enough. We could also add in cardio training. Cardio training is not bad, but then again, strength training should be the primary exercise modality that we would be using, and cardio training should be a complementary training along with it. So what we generally recommend is to train for 5 to 6 days throughout the week. Majority of the sessions, like 3 to 4 sessions, are strength training focused, and remaining 3 to 2 sessions are cardio focused, because cardio is also training our heart, training our respiratory system, cardiovascular systems, which are very important for our body. Okay, also helps with a lot of calorie burning during the session. Okay, so both of the things are important. Just make sure that you are consistent with whatever you like, and make sure that strength training has a little more priority over everything else. That is about the training aspect. 60 minutes, 6 days a week, good thing to do. Okay, after that, rest, recovery, sleep, very important part. Okay, without rest, recovery, without sleep, even the nutrition and the training would not work as better as it could have if the sleep component would have been balanced very well. Okay, so number 3 is making sure that sleep is intact. We have got a very detailed episode on how to optimize your sleep, how to get the best of sleep even when you are running busy and things like that. Check out that episode as well. We have got a very amazing episode on female hormones as well. If you are a female, and even if you are not suffering from PCOS, you should understand about your menstrual cycle, hormones, and how does that affect your transformation journey, and what are the things that you could do to keep it predictable and make amazing progress throughout. Check out that episode as well. Apart from that, these are the 3 things that we work around. Apart from that, when we talk about supplementation, there are no specific supplementation that would be very beneficial, but there is one, myo-inositol. Okay, that has shown to be very beneficial. The dosage of it depends from person to person, depends on the tolerance of the body as well. So we need to have the blood reports, we need to get a consistent and a frequent data from the client in order to give them a medical protocol, and majority of the time the gynecologist takes care of this stuff. But myo-inositol has shown to be very effective. Then everything else that could help us with blood sugar regulation, like green tea would be a very good option that could help. Apple cider vinegar could help, but again, the taste is a little stronger, so we need to make sure that we are adding it in a proper adequate quantities and in a way which does not make us feel overwhelmed. Okay, apart from that, these were the top 3 protocols that we generally recommend. Okay, then again, stress management, one more thing that we could do is to have a good night ritual or night routine, we could say. Okay, journaling, having a nice warm bath, going outdoors for a walk, just doing the things that you like, spending time with your kids, spending time with your pets, spending time with your loved ones, and doing the things that you love. Basically, these things will calm your body down and get you into a more parasympathetic nervous state, and get you to fall asleep better, get you more recovered, and help you to lower your stress levels, which is very important. Going outdoors for a walk would also help you with blood sugar regulation, will also help you with lowering your cortisol overall, stress hormone overall, get you into more of a parasympathetic nervous system, which will also help you to digest your food and sleep better. Okay, so these were the top 4 things that we always work around. Apart from this, gut health is something that majority of the times goes unnoticed, and majority of the people don't even think about gut health. But there are a lot of gut health issues that I've seen females facing when they are suffering from all of these problems. Okay, so the easiest solutions to work around the gut health is to get an idea about the gut health first, my friend. There is no solution. Means it is, whoever gives you solution without understanding your problem in the first place is just fooling you. That's what I could say about it. Okay, unless and until I have a proper diagnosis about you, unless and until I have a complete idea about you, I would not be in the best position to give a solution to you. Okay, so gut health, majority of the problems like acidity, diarrhea, then what you could say, what are the problems, constipations, flatulence, which is a lot of gases and things like that, could be taken care of if the gut microbiome is very nicely balanced. Increasing fiber intake, increasing water intake. A lot of people are not drinking enough water as well these days. Stress management, good sleep protocol, eating nice cooked homemade food, with very less oil and whole foods. Okay, because again, packaged foods do not come with a lot of the digestive enzymes and things like that. Now whenever we eat whole food, the whole food comes along with a lot of nutrients, and it also comes along with a little bit of digestive enzyme here and there, probiotic components and things like that, that will help us to digest the food better. But when we eat processed foods, all of these foods are got rid of, and they are just made to optimize for taste, texture, and just made to make sure that you keep consuming them in a larger quantity. That is what. So eat whole food majority of the times. Do not use a lot of cooking oil. Do not use a lot of spices. A little bit of spices are always fine, but do not overdo the spices wala part. Okay, include fibers with majority of your meals. I would say all of your meals. Why not include fibers with all of your meals? Include protein in your meals, but protein will not do anything with the gut health, but just I just love protein because of all of the health benefits that it has got. It will definitely not help you with your gut health, but of course will help you with plenty of other stuff, with almost everything that you could think of and want of for a better life: hair, skin, better hormones, everything else. Okay, so these were the things. Buttermilk is definitely something that we could add into our meals and would definitely help. A lot of water, a lot of sleep, a lot of whole foods prepared in less oil, less spices. That's what, my friend. These are overall the protocols that we would incorporate with any client that we work one to one with, and all of these things would be personalized according to their challenges, lifestyle preferences, schedule, and things like that. But that's what we generally have to do overall. Okay, there is nothing to be complicated. There is no magical supplement, no magical medical pills that would help you to get rid of the problem without solving these five issues, my friend. Okay, the medicines that generally the gynecologists recommend are: number one is the birth control pills to regularize the periods. Steroidal pills, my friend, they have higher amounts of estrogen and progesterone so that the menstrual cycle is nicely balanced. Then they give you a tablet called as metformin. Metformin is a tablet to regularize the blood insulin, blood glucose levels, and to prevent diabetes. Okay, then one more medicine that you would get is would be called as thyroxine, which would be to regulate your thyroid levels. Okay, then again, you get steroidal tablets to improve your fertility if you would be planning to conceive a child in the coming time. Then you would be given multivitamins and multi-mineral tablets to avoid deficiencies. Now, none of these things would directly solve the root cause of the issues that have been created because of the bad lifestyle and things like that. Now, when you stop taking these medicines, these pills, the hormonal irregularities that were there before would again get back to normal. The blood sugar levels that were imbalanced before would get back to normal or even worsen, because you were treating it with medicines and now the medicines have gone, and you would get a little bit of a setback. Thyroid levels could again always elevate and do things like that after the steroid medications have stopped. Steroid medications comes with a lot of disadvantages as well. So that's why I recommend a collaborative approach with the gynecologist and the health coach. Okay, because again, these medicines are important for specific scenarios, because again, PCOS could lead to type 2 diabetes, it could lead to like heart diseases, it could lead to increased levels of cholesterol. That is why one of the tablet that you would get would be called as statins. These statins control the blood cholesterol levels in the blood. So these statins, thyroxine for thyroid, statins for high cholesterol. Then again, we get metformin for diabetes, we get birth control pill for period regulations, which are higher in estrogen and progesterone levels and things like that. So these are the things that would help us to prevent the symptoms of the problem. Okay, periods are irregularized, take birth control pills, periods would get back to normal. Elevated blood glucose levels, take metformin, blood glucose levels would be back to normal. Thyroid levels are unbalanced, take thyroxine, blood levels of thyroid levels would be brought to normal. High levels of cholesterol in the body, take statins, it would come back to normal levels. Want to be fertile in this phase, take the steroidal medications. Now, depending upon what is wrong with you, whether you are ovulating, whether you aren't, the treatment protocol might change. But then again, Now, what we did was we got these things back to normal by taking medications. What would happen when we stop taking these medications? We would basically go back to normal again. Okay, unless and until we change something that is not dependent on this medications. Our lifestyle, our nutrition, our exercise, our stress management strategies, these are the things that would override the medications, and slowly, slowly we could stop the medications. Okay, because or else there are chances of developing diabetes, there are chances of developing heart diseases and everything. So the medicines would make sure that we are not, the symptoms are not worsening, but then again the lifestyle component would have to be built up, and slowly, slowly the medicines would have to be tapered down. Lifestyle, nutrition, exercise, stress management, gut health, these things would increase, and medicines would slowly, 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 slowly decrease, and this would make sure that over a longer period of time you get rid of all of the problems. That is the most, what we could say, successful protocol that have worked amazingly well for all of my clients. Few of them have also got pregnant and have bared a very healthy and a happy child, are happy parents at the moment. This is what I would recommend. Do you have any doubts, any questions, any queries about everything that we discussed? Drop it down in the comments below. I would like to know about how did you feel, whether you got any value from this episode, learn something new from it. Do drop it as a DM to me on my Instagram. I would love to hear from you. As always, my friend, Vinay here, signing off, and see you for the next one.